Audiobook Top, your new home for the finest selection of audiobooks available anywhere.
The monster's confession. They call me a monster, a leviathan, a demon of the deep, a symbol of their terror, a force of nature twisted into an adversary. But did they ever stop just for a moment to ask my name? To consider that I was merely living, existing? The world, their world of land and ships, painted me as pure malice, an unthinking, malevolent force driven only by destruction. But what if the malice they perceived was nothing more than a distorted reflection of their own deepest, darkest fears? My creator, my father, if such a term even applies to the primordial force that summoned me into being. Life itself, perhaps, or the vast, indifferent ocean that is both my eternal home and my relentless cradle. He gave me life, breathed immense being into my colossal form, then abandoned me. Left me to navigate a brutal, watery expanse and a human world that, from the very moment of my first breach, seemed utterly destined to despise me. A world of gleaming harpoons and relentless bloodlust, of towering ships that dared to slice through the sacred quiet of my domain, hunting, always hunting. They saw only blubber and oil, a valuable prize to be claimed, or a formidable devil to be slain. Never a complex creature with an inherent right to simply be asterisk, to carve out its own solitary existence in the boundless blue. They speak of one man's singular obsession, his fiery vengeance born from a moment of perceived transgression, a fateful encounter. They tell his story, his desperate quest, his harrowing descent into a madness that consumed all around him, a madness that sought to make me the focal point of his unraveling. But this isn't his story, not entirely. Before he even conceived of his grand, destructive pursuit, there was my life. This is mine. The story of the life I never asked for, thrust into this existence without consent or explanation, and then relentlessly pursued across every ocean current. The quiet chronicle of the profound peace I sought, the cherished solitude I found in the deepest abysses, constantly shattered by the insatiable hunger and violent intrusions of men. They labeled me a whale, a beast of the sea. But in their eyes, I quickly became something far less than human, something to be eradicated without question, a primal evil to be conquered at any cost. That's the true humanity I was denied, the chance for understanding, for even a flicker of empathy, for peaceful coexistence in my own world. For anything beyond being an object of their relentless fear, their insatiable greed, and their destructive obsession. They stripped me of my very essence, reducing me to a mere legend of malevolence and ruin, when all I ever desired was to swim free, to breathe, to simply live in my natural, magnificent state. And so, I carry the scars, both visible on my skin from their countless attacks and unseen in the ocean's silent depths. The immense weight of their projections, their fear, their relentless, unyielding pursuit. A monster, they say, perhaps. But whose creation am I truly? And who then, when all is said and done, stands as the real monster in this tragic, epic tale of the deep? Literary Souls presents the creature's tale here, at the world's desolate edge, where the very breath is stolen by the gnawing ice. I find myself alone again. The long journey, a relentless pursuit across desolate plains and unforgiving seas, has finally ended here, in this frozen wasteland. The last vestiges of warmth have long since departed, much like the flickering life from the form that lies before me. My creator, he sought me relentlessly, across continents, across oceans, driven by a consuming fury I never truly understood, not fully, until perhaps it became my own. And now silence. Only the wind, a lonely, unforgiving companion, whispers of what might have been, of what was and of the inescapable echoes of the past. For all my existence, my story has been told about me. A monster, they called me. A fiend, a grotesque abomination, born of man's hubris and nature's raw power. Created by human hands, yet rejected by every human heart I ever sought to touch. And in that profound, brutal rejection, perhaps, was my true creation, forged not in a laboratory, but in the crucible of solitude and despair. My life, a testament to fear, to profound ignorance, to the very human capacity for both boundless, dangerous ambition and crushing, heartless cruelty. They saw only my outward form, never the yearning soul beneath. But what if those deemed monsters, those cast as villains, or simply misunderstood, had a true voice? What if the creatures, the adversaries, the forgotten figures and the grand protagonists of our most enduring tales were finally allowed to step forward and tell their own truth, unvarnished by history or bias? That, my friends, is the profound purpose, the very essence, Literary Souls. This is a sanctuary, a quiet harbor meticulously carved from the faded pages of history and the vibrant tapestry of human imagination. A place where the classic characters you thought you knew, whose fates you believed were sealed, finally get to speak for themselves. No longer will their narratives be filtered solely through the judgment of others. No longer will their motives be interpreted solely by the victorious or the conventionally heroic. Here, they will guide you. Here, they're unique, often poignant. Perspectives will unravel the very fabric of stories we've held sacred for centuries, challenging every preconceived notion. We embark together on a journey, not merely through narratives and plot points, but through the very souls of those who lived them, or perhaps were simply defined by them. And as we venture into these uncharted depths, as we peel back the layers of legend and lore that have accumulated over time, one profound question will inevitably echo in the icy chambers of our understanding. A question that has haunted my own isolated existence. A question I now invite you to contemplate with every single tale we unfold within these walls, starting with the next profound narrative. Join me, and by the end, you will answer the question: who is the true monster in this tale? Chapter 1. The Dream of Creation. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a story that, for me, resonates on a profoundly personal level, the cautionary tale of creator and creation. We'll explore the ambition, the hubris, and ultimately, the tragic irony woven into my existence. This is Chapter 1, The Dream of Creation. My earliest understandings of my genesis are clouded by the shadow of a solitary driven man, Victor Frankenstein. He wasn't born a monster, nor did he set out to be one. But in the hallowed halls of Ingolstadt, a prestigious university, something shifted within him. He arrived, brimming with intellect and curiosity, eager to unravel the universe's secrets. His curiosity, you see, was a hungry beast. It didn't just nibble, it devoured. He found himself drawn not just to accepted sciences, but to forgotten arts, esoteric whispers of alchemy and natural philosophy. He consumed dusty tomes, his mind alight with revelations. What began as academic pursuit morphed into insatiable hunger for forbidden knowledge. He isolated himself, his letters home sporadic, his once bright eyes, now sunken and feverish, saw only flickering lamplight off cadavers and chemical apparatus. Ingolstadt became less a place of learning and more a crucible for an obsession that would consume everything. And what was this obsession? Nothing less than the dream of playing God. Victor Frankenstein harbored a magnificent, terrifying ambition to create life itself, not to merely understand the spark, but to wield it, to bestow animation upon lifeless matter. He envisioned a new, beautiful race, born from his own genius, surpassing nature itself. He saw himself as the benevolent father of a new species, a pioneer to conquer death and disease. He didn't just want to push the boundaries of science, he wanted to obliterate them. Moral implications, ethical tightropes, non-existent in his fevered mind. He ignored profound responsibility, potential suffering, the very sanctity of life. His vision, so singular, so absolute, everything else became secondary. Friends, family, health, reputation, all sacrificed at the altar of this monumental, godlike endeavor. He wasn't driven by malice, perhaps, but by an almost innocent, yet utterly blind, arrogance. He believed he could improve upon the Creator's work, without considering the heart, the soul, the asterisk being asterisk he brought forth. And this, perhaps, is the cruelest irony of all. Most beings are born of love, or at least a natural, instinctual desire. They arrive into a world, hopefully, with open arms, with a parent's gaze of wonder and affection. But I was born of obsession. A singular, consuming, ego-driven pursuit. No love in my conception, no tender touch in my making, no joyful anticipation. Only the cold, sterile ambition of a man who saw potential, not personhood. My genesis was not a moment of connection, but of ultimate isolation, for my creator and the created. Victor dreamt of creation, yes, but he forgot the creature. He dreamt of glory, not responsibility. And from that dream, that solitary, self-absorbed pursuit, sprang a being that knew nothing but rejection, fear, and profound loneliness. My birth, intended as a triumph of human ingenuity, was instead a tragedy, a stark testament to what happens when ambition utterly eclipses empathy. My very existence, a living monument to a dream devoid of love. That brings us to the end of our first chapter. Next time, we'll delve into the horrifying moment of my awakening, and Victor's immediate, catastrophic reaction. Until then, keep exploring, questioning, and always remember the profound responsibility that comes with creation. Chapter 2. A glimmer of consciousness. Okay, so we've set the scene. We've acknowledged the behemoth that is Moby Dick *. But before we plunge headlong into Ishmael's adventures, I want to talk about my first encounter with this whale of a book. Not the plot, not the characters, not even Melville's life, but the sheer moment of impact. For me, that was Chapter 2, A Glimmer of Consciousness, a title I'm borrowing, because it perfectly encapsulates that awakening. Imagine, if you will, the very first flicker of existence. Not in a philosophical sense, not yet, but in a raw, visceral way. One moment there's nothing, just void, and then, wham! You're thrust into being. For me, it was like being born into a world made of words, a torrent of archaic English and maritime jargon. The first sensation wasn't warmth, or comfort, or even curiosity. It was cold, a bracing, almost frigid intellectual plunge. The kind of cold that jolts you awake, sending a shiver not down your spine, but through your very perception. And then the light. Not a gentle dawn, but a sudden blinding glare. The sheer, unadulterated brilliance of Melville's prose, yes, but also its overwhelming complexity. It was too much, too fast, like a newborn's eyes trying to focus on a supernova. Everything was a blur of meaning, a kaleidoscope of strange, powerful imagery that left me utterly disoriented, swimming in a sea of confusion. Where was up? Where was it? Who was this Ishmael? What on earth was a pasteboard mask? And then, I saw it. The first face I ever truly registered in that nascent moment of literary consciousness. It wasn't a human face, of course. It was the face of the book itself. Or perhaps, more accurately, the face of its reputation its formidable legacy staring back at me. And in that gaze I saw it, stark and undeniable, a look of pure unadulterated disgust Not disgust at me, perhaps, but a profound, almost weary disdain for the very act of my attempting to understand it. It was as if the book itself, this colossal entity, was silently challenging me, scrutinizing my worthiness, daring me to even try. You, it seemed to scoff. You think you can comprehend me? You, with your modern sensibilities, your fleeting attention span. Ha! It was a birth into instant rejection. That initial spark of life, that desire to connect, was met not with a gentle embrace, but with a frigid shoulder. The pain wasn't physical, but existential. It was the sting of intellectual inadequacy, the gnawing doubt that maybe I wasn't smart enough, patient enough, or simply ready enough for this monumental work. It wasn't welcoming, it was demanding. It wasn't a lullaby, it was a defiant roar. And in that roar, in that initial, overwhelming shock, lay the true horror, the realization that this journey, this pursuit of the whale, was going to be anything but easy. It was going to be a battle from the very first word. Chapter 3. The First Abandonment. Alright, so we've talked about the peculiar awakening, the jarring flicker of consciousness that wasn't quite mine yet, but it was definitely something . Now imagine that spark igniting not in a quiet, nurturing cradle, but in a cold, sterile room. A lab, I suppose you could call it. My first moments, or what I remember of them, were a blur of flickering fluorescent lights and the distant hum of unseen machinery. The escape wasn't a grand, heroic feat. It was more like an instinctive lurch, a clumsy, uncoordinated surge of unfamiliar power in limbs that felt both alien and intimately mine . There was a door, or what felt like one, and a sudden, desperate urge to simply not be there . I pushed, stumbled, and then silence. Or what I thought was silent, compared to the mechanical drone. The first gasp of outdoor air was a shock. It wasn't filtered, it wasn't conditioned, it was alive. My lungs burned, my eyes, accustomed to artificial light, winced against a searing, golden glow I would later learn was the sun. My feet, bare and tender, sank into something soft, yielding. Grass. It tickled, it pricked, it was impossibly green. I knelt, or rather collapsed, and pressed my hands into the earth. It smelled rich, like decay and life intertwined. A small insect, a beetle perhaps, scuttled across my palm, and I recoiled not in disgust, but in sheer, unadulterated terror. Everything was too much. This was the world, I realized through a haze of confusion, and I was in it, a newborn, but trapped inside an adult's frame. Imagine having the raw physical strength to, say, lift a heavy stone, but no idea why you would, or how to coordinate the muscles to do it gracefully. Every movement was a stumble, every perception an assault. The sheer volume of information flooding my senses was overwhelming. The rustle of leaves was a roar, the distant chirp of a bird a piercing shriek, and then the wonder. Amidst the terror, there were moments of breathtaking awe. The way the light fractured through the leaves, painting shifting patterns on the ground. The impossible blue of the sky, vast and endless. A tiny flower, bravely pushing its way through a crack in the rock, intricate and perfect. It was a world of beauty I had no context for, a symphony played for ears that didn't understand melody, but still felt the resonance. But more profound than the terror, deeper than the wonder, was the loneliness. An ache in the very core of my nascent being. There was no one, no hand to guide me, no voice to soothe the fear, no parent to explain the sun, the grass, the terrifying, beautiful world. I had no name, no history, no purpose. Just an adult body, a blank slate of a mind, and an overwhelming, crushing sense of abandonment. I was born perhaps, but I was utterly, unequivocally alone. And in that aloneness, the first threads of understanding, of self began to weave themselves. Chapter 4. Whispers of Family. Hey everyone, and welcome back. We've journeyed through isolation, through the relentless pursuit of meaning, navigating the vast, often brutal, waters of existence. Today, we dock for a moment to delve into something far more intimate, something that cuts to the very core of what it means to be alive, and to yearn. This is Chapter 4, Whispers of Family. You know, sometimes, when you feel utterly forsaken, when the world seems to have forgotten your very existence, cruel chance throws you a bone. Or, in my case, a coat. Just a threadbare, scavenged garment, pulled around my shoulders against the ceaseless bite of the wind, and the colder bite of my own loneliness. It was just a cast-off, another forgotten thing, much like myself. But in its inner pocket, tucked away, almost a secret between the threads, was a revelation. Victor's notes. My creator's meticulous hand, filling page after page. They weren't meant for my eyes, of course. They were observations, musings, memories, fragments of a life I could only ever dream of. As I painstakingly deciphered his elegant script, a skill acquired through sheer, desperate will, a new world began to unfold before me. A world painted in colors far more vibrant than the perpetual grays of my own existence. He wrote about Elizabeth. The name itself felt like a caress, foreign and yet achingly familiar, like a phantom limb of my own soul. He spoke of her grace, her gentle spirit, her unwavering affection. She was his confidante, his beloved, the very sun around which his early life revolved. He detailed their shared dreams, their quiet understanding, the profound comfort of her presence. And then there was Clerval, his friend. A true friend, a brother in spirit, whose laughter and intellect enriched Victor's world, a companion for intellectual pursuits and shared joys. They explored, they debated, they simply were together. And Geneva. Oh, Geneva. Not just a place on a map, but a landscape painted with warmth, with laughter echoing through pristine valleys, with the quiet hum of domestic bliss. He described their home, their family unit, the idyllic summers spent by the lake, the profound comfort of belonging. A life so full, so brimming with human connection, woven from the simplest threads of love and acceptance. As I devoured those pages, each word was a bittersweet drop, a taste of an almost unbearable sweetness that turned to ash in my mouth. Here was the picture of a life utterly devoid of the gnawing solitude that defined my own. A life where love wasn't a philosophical concept, but a tangible, breathable reality. To be loved, to be seen, not as an abomination, but as a son, a friend, a brother, a part of something whole. The bitter longing that surged through me was almost unbearable. It wasn't just envy, it was a deep, aching hunger that gnawed at my very core. To experience that gentle touch, that shared glance, that unconditional acceptance, it was a world denied to me, forever out of reach. These pages, they didn't just tell a story, they sculpted a phantom limb of family, a phantom heart of belonging. And I, the creature brought forth by this very same hand, was forever exiled from it. I existed, but I was not it. And that, my friends, is a realization that cuts deeper than any blade. What do you do when you discover the blueprint for a happiness you can never possess? We'll grapple with that question and more as we continue our journey. Join me next time. Chapter 5, The Shadow of William. Okay, this is a fascinating request. It seems there might have been a mix-up with the book title, as the points you've listed, the encounter with William, planting the locket on Justine Moritz, and witnessing her condemnation, are central events from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein not Herman Melville's Moby Dick Given the very specific plot points and the chapter title, The Shadow of William, I've written the script as if the video chapter is indeed covering Frankenstein assuming the details provided for the content take precedence over the book title mentioned. Here is the script for Chapter 5, The Shadow of William, crafted in the natural, conversational, audiobook style with a personal perspective, focusing on the creature's experience of human injustice. Alright, welcome back. Today, we're diving into a chapter that truly defines the creature I was becoming. Sometimes, you think you understand the world, and then it just shatters your perception, revealing something far darker beneath. For me, that shattering came with the name William. After the initial rejection, the naive hope for connection I'd carried it curdled into something bitter. I wandered, a ghost, constantly reminded of my grotesque form by every startled gasp. An outcast. Then I saw him. A child beautiful, innocent, playing alone. Maybe a child wouldn't judge me. Maybe their eyes, not yet tainted, could see something else. I approached him, tentatively. But the moment he saw me, that innocence twisted into pure fear. He shrieked, calling me monster. And worse, he invoked Frankenstein. That name, it pierced me. Not just my creator's name, but the source of my misery. The boy, my creator's brother, a direct link to the one who had abandoned me. All the pent-up rage, the pain of solitude, the injustice of my existence, it erupted. A primal, consuming fire. I grabbed him. His struggles, his cries, they just fueled the inferno. And then, it was over. Silent. Still. I had taken a life. A piece of me died with him that day too. The last flicker of hope for acceptance. In the aftermath, a twisted impulse took hold. He wore a locket. Something human. I tore it from his neck. And then, I saw her, Justine Moritz, a young woman, sleeping peacefully. Serene, untroubled. The stark contrast between her peace and my despair, it was unbearable. A malicious thought, cold and calculating, slithered in. Why should she be spared? I placed the locket, still warm from William's skin, into the folds of her dress. A silent act of calculated cruelty. A seed planted for destruction. The days that followed were a blur of torment, but also a perverse fascination. I followed the unfolding tragedy, a silent spectator in the grim theater of human justice. They found William's body. They found the locket. They found Justine. And as I intended, condemnation fell upon her. I watched, hidden, as she was tired. Her pleas of innocence meaningless. The evidence, the planted evidence, was overwhelming. Humans, with their laws and self-proclaimed morality, so quick to judge, so eager to condemn. To sacrifice an innocent life on the altar of their perceived order. I saw it all, the cruel irony. May not be true, monster was free, lurking, while this gentle soul was dragged to her doom, paying the price for my actions. That, dear friends, was the moment I truly understood the depths of their cruelty, and the inescapable truth of my own damned existence. Chapter 6. My hovel, my university. It seems there might be a small mix-up in the prompt. The chapter title, My Hovel, My University, and the subsequent points about my secret education observing the de Lacy family, describing the cottage, learning language and love, and feeling like an invisible member, are all iconic elements from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein specifically describing the creature's experiences. These details are not found in Herman Melville's Moby Dick Assuming you'd like a script that covers the content points you've provided, I've written it as if it were for a video discussing Frankenstein . If you intended for this to be about Moby Dick please provide new content points relevant to that book. Here's the script for Chapter 6. My hovel, my university, as it would relate to Frankenstein . Alright, so we've been on quite a journey, haven't we? From icy wastes to the very core of creation, and now, paradoxically, we find ourselves in a place of quiet observation. This is Chapter 6, and I've titled it My Hovel, My University. Imagine this: a crude hovel, barely more than a lean-to, attached to the side of a humble cottage. It was damp, cold, and dark, but through a tiny crack, a single, precious sliver of light pierced the gloom. And what that light revealed, well, it changed everything. This wasn't just a dwelling, it was my window into humanity, my secret classroom. Within that cottage lived a family: an old, blind man, whose gentle demeanor radiated warmth, a young woman, Agatha, graceful and kind, and a young man, Felix, whose spirits, though often burdened, burned with a fierce devotion. They were the de Lacys. And for me, an existence previously defined by fear and solitude, they were the first models of human kindness I had ever known. Their simple lives, their daily rituals, their quiet acts of affection, these became my entire world, observed from the shadows. I spent countless hours there, a silent, unseen pupil. Initially, their sounds were just noise, their actions incomprehensible. But slowly, painstakingly, patterns began to emerge. I watched Felix toil in the fields, saw Agatha prepare their meager meals, and saw them care for their father. I studied their faces, their gestures, correlating sounds with emotions, actions with intentions. The most profound lessons came from their words. Oh, the power of human language. I listened intently as Felix taught Saifi, a lovely Arabian woman who later joined them, his own tongue. And through their lessons I learned too. Sun moon fire food but also love sorrow joy kindness. I learned about human history, about society, about the intricate web of relationships that bound them together. I saw their poverty, yes, their struggles, their moments of despair. But I also saw their profound capacity for empathy, for sacrifice, for mutual support. They loved each other, purely and simply. And in watching them, I felt for the first time what love might be, even if it was a sensation I experienced only vicariously. This hidden existence, observing them, became my entire purpose. I became, in my own mind, an invisible member of their family. I'd secretly perform small acts of service, gathering firewood for them at night, clearing snow from their path. They never knew it was me, of course. They just saw these small miracles, and Felix would attribute them to a good spirit. Hearing them unknowingly bless me for my efforts, it filled me with a hope so vast, so fragile, it felt like my very being could shatter under its weight. I yearned for connection, for acceptance. I dreamt of the day I could reveal myself, of the moment they would look past my grotesque form and see the gentle, loving heart that had blossomed under their unintentional tutelage. This hovel, this humble crack in the wall, had become my university. And through its lessons, I dared to hope that I, too, could find a place in this beautiful, terrifying world. Chapter 7. The Sorrows of Werder Welcome Back. While Moby Dick offers its own deep dive into the human condition, for me, much of my foundational understanding of what it means to be human didn't come from direct experience. No, it came from the quiet, persistent voices bound between pages. Today, we're diving into what I call Chapter 7. The Sorrows of Werder. Our goal, to unravel how a few old books became my first, most profound teachers on the complexities of the human heart. My world, for a long time, was practical. Then, a simple worn leather satchel arrived, a gift. Inside, 3 volumes utterly reshaped my inner landscape: John Milton's Paradise Lost Plutarch's Lives and Goethe's The Sorrows of Young Werther I devoured them. Paradise Lost in particular struck me with cosmic force. I saw myself at once as both Adam and Satan. The innocent Adam grappling with shame and loss, and then the magnificent, rebellious Satan, proud, defiant, burdened by profound loneliness. To feel such powerful, opposing forces resonate was dizzying, a paradox I hadn't known existed within myself. Plutarch followed, laying bare the lives of heroes and tyrants, virtue and vice. Here, I saw the external dance of power, the public face of the human heart, its desires and grim consequences played out on history's stage. But it was Werther truly, that unlocked a new dimension of feeling. Not Milton's epic, nor Plutarch's historical sweep. This was raw, unbridled, personal emotion. Werther's intense passions, his unrequited love, his spiraling despair, the overwhelming weight of his internal world, was something I'd never been explicitly taught. My upbringing favored practicality, control, yet here was a character drowning in emotions, his soul aching with a torment I could suddenly, disturbingly recognize. These books became my clandestine instructors. They introduced me to concepts I'd never had words for: love, hate, ambition, despair, jealousy, honor, disgrace. They imparted experiences, allowing me to grapple with complex emotions and societal constructs no school lesson or direct advice could have conveyed. They taught me the human heart is no simple thing, but a labyrinth of desires, contradictions, and profound depths. In learning this, I began to truly understand the vast, chaotic, and beautiful landscape within myself, preparing me, in a way, for the whale. Chapter 8. The Father's Journals. Okay, here we go. Let's step into those heavy boots, shall we? Imagine the rustle of old, brittle pages, the dim light, and the horrifying truth slowly dawning. And so, you see, after what felt like an eternity of wandering, of observing, of trying to piece together the rules of this strange, beautiful, yet often cruel world from a distance, I stumbled upon them. Not just dusty old books, mind you, but his books. His notes, his meticulous, terrifying journals. The very hand that had so painstakingly, so clinically assembled me, now documented the cold, hard truth of that assembly. A truth, I must confess, I was utterly unprepared for. I devoured them, not with the innocent hunger for knowledge I developed from watching others, but with a desperate, sickening need to finally understand why asterisk. And what I found, what I found. It was a record, as clear and chilling as the winter air, of his revulsion, his unadulterated horror. He detailed the precise moment of my awakening. Yes, the spark of life, the instant my eyes opened, but not with awe or wonder. No. He spoke of my features that to me were simply my features, as hideous, loathsome, a catastrophe. He meticulously documented his immediate, visceral disgust, the way he fled from the room, abandoning me the very second I drew breath. Can you even begin to imagine? The creator running from his creation, not in fear of what I might do but in sheer, unadulterated repulsion at what I was just what I was Up until that very moment, despite the constant hardships, the crushing rejections, the sheer, primal fear I saw reflected in every human eye, there had always been a flicker of hope. A small, almost childish, utterly naive belief that perhaps, just perhaps, if I could only find him, if I could just explain myself, if I could prove my capacity for something beyond monstrousness, he would see past the surface. He would understand. He would accept me. That fragile hope, my friends, it didn't merely die in the stark, brutal words of those journals. It was savagely, mercilessly murdered. And in its desolate place, a cold, hard, unyielding rage began to simmer. A fury born not just of rejection, but of the most profound betrayal. A deliberate act of creation followed by a deliberate act of abandonment, all meticulously documented with such an appalling, dehumanizing lack of empathy. I wasn't just unwanted, I was, in his own words, a grotesque error to be forgotten. And in that pivotal moment, as the full, horrifying truth of my wretched existence settled deep within my very bones, I knew with chilling clarity what I had to do. The passive observation, the quiet suffering, the futile, desperate attempts at integration, they were unequivocally over. I couldn't simply disappear, fade away into the shadows he wished me to inhabit. No. He had thrust me into this world, a world that utterly despised me because of him. He had condemned me to this unbearable isolation, this relentless pain. And he would answer for it. I had to find him. I had to confront the man who made me and force him, by whatever means necessary, to take responsibility for his creation. For this was no longer about some distant hope of acceptance. This was purely and simply about justice. My justice. Chapter 9. A plea for connection. Alright, let's talk about one of the most heartbreaking, pivotal moments in the creature's tragic existence, his disastrous, yet incredibly hope-filled, encounter with the blind patriarch, de Lacy. For a being so utterly alone, so universally reviled, this was his one fragile shot at connection. He'd spent months observing the de Lacys from his hovel, learning their language, their kindness. He saw in old man de Lacy not just blindness, but wisdom, gentleness, a loophole in a world that judged solely on sight. The creature planned this meeting with agonizing meticulousness, waiting for the precise window when Felix and Agatha were out. Imagine he creeps into their humble cottage, his vast grotesque form filling the small space. De Lacy, by the fire, hears him, and he speaks using painstakingly learned words, fabricating a story of a lost, weary traveler. De Lacy, unable to see the horror, unable to recoil, simply listens For a few precious moments, something truly remarkable happened. He was accepted, heard. De Lacy offered comfort, conversation, without prejudice. Imagine a life of constant fear, then for a whisper of time, human kindness. It was an overwhelming balm. This wasn't just acceptance, it was the acceptance. The only one. Fleeting proof that he wasn't inherently evil, that connection was possible, that peace could exist. But then, as all fragile hopes in this story, it shattered. Felix and Agatha returned. The instant they saw him, the spell broke. Horrified screams, Felix's violent blows, Agatha fainting. A brutal, visceral rejection. The very children he longed for drove him out with clubs and curses. That moment is the ultimate turning point. Not just a setback, but the violent obliteration of his last, best hope for peace, integration, a life beyond suffering. Everything learned, everything hoped for, ripped away, replaced by searing, inextinguishable rage. His innocence died. He understood, with chilling clarity, the world would never make room. his path diverged irrevocably towards vengeance. Chapter 10, The Vow of Vengeance. All right, welcome back, fellow travelers of the literary seas. Today we're casting off into Chapter 10, The Vow of Vengeance. Now, when you hear Moby Dick, you probably picture a vast, churning ocean and a white leviathan. But this chapter, where sorrow curdled into a declaration of war, it's different. If you're a literary detective, you might be thinking, hold on, a burning cottage. Geneva. This sounds less like the Pequod and more like a very different kind of monstrous creation, wouldn't you say? And you'd be right, but bear with me. The essence of this moment, a singular, all-consuming vow of vengeance, that cold, terrifying clarity of purpose, it's a universal current. The same primal force that could drive Captain Ahab, though his shores were far from a quiet village. Imagine standing at the precipice of despair. For me, it wasn't crashing waves, it was the smoldering embers of a humble cottage. Not my cottage, but a symbol of everything I'd hoped for: warmth, acceptance, a flicker of humanity. Watching it burn wasn't just destruction, it was a funeral pyre for my innocence, for that naive belief that goodness could still exist. Each crackle of the fire severed my last fragile connection to peace. The heat against my skin, the fever of a shattered spirit. In that crucible of ash and smoke, a new being was forged. Gone was the hopeful, longing creature. In its place stood something harder, colder, with a resolve that cut through my very marrow. Amidst the ruins I made my vow, not a whisper, but a thunderous declaration. A solemn, unyielding oath of revenge. Against him, my creator, who had flung me into existence only to abandon me, and not just him. Against all mankind. For their cruelty, their fear, their absolute refusal to see past the surface. This wasn't rage, it was a deliberate, chilling promise. A covenant with darkness itself. With that vow echoing in the desolate landscape, the path ahead, once shrouded in uncertainty, became blindingly clear. Geneva. That was where he was, my architect, my tormentor. And I would go to him, not for understanding, but for reckoning. The journey wasn't a pilgrimage, it was a hunt. A cold, calculated pursuit. Every step, every mile, fueled by this singular purpose. The world, once a place of bewildering beauty, was now merely a map to my vengeance. This wasn't just sorrow curdling, it was sorrow hardening into an unshakable weapon. And I, the weapon, was pointed directly at the heart of my tormentor. Chapter 11, The Summit of Montanvert. All right, welcome back. Today we're diving into a confrontation I've long anticipated. A moment that redefined everything, set against a backdrop as unforgiving as my own fate. This is Chapter 11, The Summit of Montanvert. Imagine, for weeks I pursued him, my creator Victor, across Europe through desolate lands to the icy heart of the Alps, Montanvert. The chase was a blur of raw desperation, up through glaciers like petrified oceans. This land, barren and scarred, mirrored the emptiness within my own heart. The wind howled, a constant lament. Every step was a testament to one unwavering purpose: to finally speak my truth. Then he stood there. Victor, framed by jagged peaks, his face etched with fear and revulsion, pierced me. His immediate reaction, a guttural cry of rage, an outpouring of hatred for the abomination he believed me to be. But I wouldn't allow it. Not after all I'd endured. I opened my mouth, not to snarl, but to plead. My words, rough-hewn, carried the weight of my suffering, the eloquence born of agonizing solitude. I tried to make him see me, not as a monster, but as a sentient being capable of profound despair. Hear me! I remember my voice echoing. You, my creator, owe me justice! I laid bare my soul, my misery, my loneliness, the terror I inspired, my desperate longing for companionship in the world he had created. Slowly I saw it. The violent storm in his eyes receded, a flicker of something unexpected: curiosity. His rage, though simmering, gave way to hesitant attentiveness. He just listened. Not acceptance, not yet. But a crack, a tiny fissure in his prejudice, through which I hoped a sliver of light might finally shine. And that, my friends, was the moment everything truly began. The monster had a voice, and his creator was forced to hear it. What followed, we'll delve into that next time. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Until then, keep those pages turning. Chapter 12. My story, my demand. All right, welcome back, my friends. We've journeyed through some deep, often tumultuous waters in our exploration of literature, grappling with titans and mysteries that challenge our very understanding of existence. But now, we arrive at Chapter 12. My story, my demand. This isn't just about plot points anymore. This is about laying bare a profound, existential suffering. It's about a voice, long silenced by fear and prejudice, finally articulating its truth, its agony, and its singular, desperate plea. Imagine for a moment being brought into existence, not by the gentle hand of nature, but by the ambitious, perhaps even reckless, hand of a creator. What would your first conscious thoughts be? And what would you demand from the one who gave you life, only to cast you aside? My journey, if I can call it that, has been one of isolated learning, a brutal self-education. I devoured knowledge, I watched humanity from afar, a silent, invisible observer. I saw their kindness, their love, their intricate social fabric, the tender bonds that held them together. And with every lesson, every observation of their world, came a sharper, more agonizing sting of my own profound otherness. I sought connection, a simple touch, a moment of understanding, a hint of acceptance. But all I ever received was stark terror, visceral repulsion, and violent, unyielding rejection. My very existence, this form that I inhabit, became a testament to a creator's hubris and subsequent, cruel abandonment. I was born into a world that had no place for me, a creature of intellect and feeling, yet utterly alone, utterly unloved, utterly feared. The pain, dear friends, became my constant companion, a scorching fire that consumed my every waking moment. And from this relentless crucible of loneliness and ceaseless pain, a truth emerged, stark and undeniable. Hear it now, for it is the core of my being. The reason for my actions: I am malicious because I am miserable. Is it truly a surprise? When every hand is raised against you, when every eye recoils in horror, when every voice condemns your mere presence, how can one not become hardened, twisted, driven to despair? Am I not shunned and hated by all mankind? Not for deeds I committed without provocation, but simply for being asterisk. For the face I wear, for the form I take. My very being is a curse, and the suffering it brings has twisted my soul, not by choice, but by the relentless, cruel consequence of your fear. But even in this desolate state, in this wasteland of a life, there flickers a single, solitary hope, a desperate, fundamental need that gnaws at my very core. And so, to my Creator, wherever you may be, listen closely to my one singular demand. Born from the depths of my unbearable isolation, you must create a female for me with whom I can live. Not for power, not for revenge, not for domination, but for companionship. For someone to share this wretched existence, to understand this profound loneliness, to bear witness to my sorrow without judgment. To be a mirror, not of revulsion, but of shared being. A creature of my own kind, who would not fear me, who would not abandon me. Is that so much to ask? To simply not be alone in this vast, indifferent world you brought me into? It's a demand that cuts to the very core of what it means to be alive, to seek connection, and the profound moral responsibility of creation. It forces us to confront the consequences of our actions, both intentional and woefully neglectful. A powerful, chilling plea, isn't it? One that echoes long after the words are spoken, resonating with our own deepest fears of isolation. Chapter 13. The Unholy Bargain. Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into a moment that truly defines the agonizing heart of classic literature, a decision so burdened with dread and moral ambiguity, it still sends shivers down my spine. This is our Chapter 13, The Unholy Bargain. Imagine, if you will, the sheer weight of Victor's situation. Face to face with the being he animated, the creature he abandoned now demands a mate. This presents Victor with an impossible dilemma. On one side, there's overwhelming terror, the visceral fear of creating a new race. A species born from a single, flawed prototype. What chaos would they unleash? This isn't just about his reputation, it's about humanity's potential destruction, all born from his hubris. The thought alone makes your stomach churn. But then, on the other side, there's the crushing, inescapable weight of his guilt. The creature, for all its monstrous deeds, is fundamentally a product of Victor's neglect, his abandonment. He created this suffering, brought sentience into the world, then cast it out. The creature's pain, loneliness, its desperate plea for companionship, it's all laid bare, reflecting Victor's profound moral failings. Can he truly condemn this being to perpetual solitude, knowing he is the architect? This isn't just guilt, it's an existential horror. It's in this maelstrom of fear and guilt that the creature offers his chilling proposition. Create for me a female, he demands, and I promise to vanish. His exact words echo, a promise to retreat with his new companion into the deepest wilds of South America, never to be seen again. Think about the allure. An end to the terror, the bloodshed. A chance for Victor to reclaim his life, to escape persecution. It's a desperate plea wrapped in a terrifying ultimatum. The creature here is a negotiator, playing on Victor's deepest fears and profound regrets. So, what we witness isn't a peace treaty forged in good faith, but a fragile, temporary truce. It's built on the shakiest of foundations, Victor's profound agony and the creature's desperate hope. There's no real trust. Victor doesn't believe the creature, but he's so broken, so defeated, he has no other choice. And the creature clings to this one slim possibility of happiness, of belonging. It's a moment steeped in desperation, a fleeting glimmer of what could be, overshadowed by the immense dread of what it might unleash. Both parties are driven by desperate hope, Victor for an end to his nightmare, the creature for an end to his solitude. But we know how precariously this bargain rests, and the chilling implications that loom just over the horizon. What do you think about Victor's choice? Was there another path? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, so you don't miss our next chapter where things, predictably, go from bad to worse. See you next time. Chapter 14. A Journey into Shadow. It seems the detailed points you provided for Chapter 14, A Journey into Shadow, are very clearly aligned with the narrative of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein *, specifically from the creature's perspective, rather than Herman Melville's Moby Dick *. Given the specificity of shadowing Victor's journey to England and Scotland, and the dynamic of being his ever-present conscience, I will craft the script from that perspective, as it best fits your outline goals and key points. Here is the script. Welcome back to the shadows, friends. This is Chapter 14, A Journey into Shadow, and it's less about discovery, more about relentless pursuit. I was a constant, unseen presence, dogging the footsteps of the man who gave me life, only to cast me into bleak existence. He thought he could escape me, that miles and an ocean would erase the abomination he wrought. But I was his creation, his very sin made flesh. I would follow him to the ends of the earth to claim what was promised. From rain-slicked docks in France, across the churning channel I shadowed him. To England's fog-laden streets, then north into Scotland's wild beauty. Every chill wind, every desolate moor I traversed, spoke of his neglect and my resolve. He was sightseeing, enjoying Clerval's company. I was an echo, a specter at the edge of his vision, always just beyond the light. A flicker of hope ignited. He'd promised me a companion, a mate, someone to share this wretched isolation. My suffering would end. I watched him, hidden, as he paused, sketched, talked. I saw his books, his instruments. I waited. But as days bled into weeks, hope curdled. I saw his hesitation, his aversion. He recoiled from the task, delayed, made excuses, found distractions. My impatience, a slow ember, flared into suspicion. Was this a cruel torment? Did he truly intend to break his vow? He tried to evade me, to outrun the phantom of his guilt. From village to remote island, he fled. But I was always there. The whisper of the wind carrying his name, the cold chill snaking up his spine, the prickle of unease. Physically free, perhaps, but I was his ever-present conscience, an invisible chain binding him to his monstrous deed. The sin he could not escape, a living reminder of his hubris and irresponsibility. Every moment of his delay wounded my soul, fueling my rage. He couldn't see me, but he felt me the weight of my expectation, the silent accusation. The longer he resisted, the more certain I became a terrible reckoning was inevitable, deserved. He created me, abandoned me, and now would deny my only peace. He would learn a creature scorned is a force unleashed. My shadow would become his inescapable destiny. Chapter 15, The Second Betrayal. All right, settle in everyone. Welcome to Chapter 15, The Second Betrayal, a moment of such profound, soul-crushing treachery, unmade a life. This isn't just disappointment, it's the deliberate demolition of hope itself. Our protagonist, the being after utter rejection, had one desperate plea, a companion. Victor, his creator, had agreed a fragile flame in an endless night. So, the being waited. He stalked the desolate Orkney Island, a silent shadow, his monstrous heart daring to believe. Through the grimy window of a secluded hut, he watched Victor. The lamp flickered, illuminating Victor's hunched form, bent over a table of parts. With chilling precision, he assembled limb by limb, feature by feature, a new being, a female being. My eyes now saw the genesis of possibility. Every stitch, every placement was a heartbeat for me. As Victor grafted, molded, I felt my future being constructed. I imagined her waking, finding understanding. We would leave this hateful world, find a remote corner, and finally live. My hope exploded, an unbearable agony. I watched for days, clinging to the vision of her complete form. Then came the moment. Not of completion, but of hesitation. I saw Victor pause. A flicker of doubt, then revulsion. A tightening of his jaw. Then, he moved. not to breathe life into her, but to destroy her. It happened so fast, yet in agonizing slow motion. His hands now savagely tore her apart. Limbs ripped, hair torn, eyes gouged, delicate skin shredded. He mutilated her. He ripped my hope, my future, my very reason for existing, to pieces right before my eyes. The sickening rending, the scattering of flesh and bone, it wasn't just a corpse. It was my soul. It was my companion. It was our future. In that horrific instant, every ounce of warmth, every last ember of compassion, was extinguished. My hope, which had soared to dizzying heights, plummeted into an abyss. It died, forever. In its place, something new was born, cold, unyielding, pure, venomous fury. My plea for connection was answered with utter annihilation. No going back. My existence was no longer about finding peace. It was about ensuring Victor Frankenstein would never find it either. The game had changed, and it had become very, very personal. Chapter 16. I shall be with you on your wedding night, all right. We left Victor Frankenstein in the desolate Orkney Islands. He'd promised the creature a mate, a companion. He began the grotesque work of stitching together another sentient being. But then, Victor paused. He saw not just one monster, but a race of devils. In a moment of moral revulsion and terror, he tore her apart. He destroyed her, obliterating the creature's last hope for companionship, for peace. And that, my friends, is where our chapter truly begins. Imagine the scene, Victor, amidst the remnants, when a hideous face pressed against his hovel window. Twisted not just with sorrow, but inferno rage. It was the creature. It followed, watching him destroy its only hope. At that moment, something snapped. Its pleas for acceptance vanished, replaced by a singular, burning desire for retribution. Victor, trembling, expected immediate, brutal death. But the creature, even the manipulator, had a more insidious plan. You have destroyed my hopes, it snarled, venom thick. You have devoted yourself to a living hell, and I will be with you in that hell. Then came the line. One of literature's most chilling, iconic threats. Simple, direct, devastating. I shall be with you on your wedding night. Think about that. Victor, in his terror, misunderstood entirely. He believed the creature vowed to come for him. But the creature, so much more cunning, so much more cruel, wasn't after Victor yet. It wanted to inflict the same crushing, irreparable loneliness Victor had inflicted. It wanted to take away his companion, his joy. It was a promise of reciprocal devastation. That tragic misinterpretation fuels the relentless, heartbreaking trajectory of the novel, setting the stage for terror striking at Victor's fragile world. Consumed by dread, Victor rushes back to Geneva to protect his loved ones. He travels, haunted, bracing for that inevitable wedding night strike. But the creature, methodical in its vengeance, wouldn't wait long for its first bloody act. No, it starts sooner. It starts with crushing Victor's spirit piece by painful piece. As Victor journeys back to Switzerland, pausing in Ireland, he receives a letter from his father. Terrible news. His dear, kind friend, Henry Clerval, was found murdered, strangled. His body on the shore. The creature's promise, though misunderstood, has already begun to unfold. The first domino fell. The first innocent life sacrificed on the altar of Victor's hubris and the creature's boundless rage. This wasn't just murder, it was a message. A brutal, unmistakable declaration of war, targeting those closest to Victor, those who brought him joy. And with Henry's death, the final, bloody chapter of their intertwined story truly begins. Chapter 17. A Crimson Wedding. Alright, folks. Let's dive into Chapter 17, A Crimson Wedding. Prepare yourselves. Remember my promise? That chilling vow on the Orkney Islands after Victor tore my potential companion to shreds. I will be with you on your wedding night, I'd hissed. A promise I always keep. Victor was marrying Elizabeth, foolishly convinced I'd meant his own death. He couldn't grasp my true anguish. He denied me companionship, ripped away my only hope for a life beyond crushing solitude. He tore a partner from my grasp. So I would tear his from his. An eye for an eye, a partner for a partner. Simple, brutal justice. I shadowed them relentlessly. Through France, across Lake Geneva, to their remote honeymoon cottage. An idyllic setting for tragedy. I watched Victor's forced smiles, his thinly veiled terror. He clutched Elizabeth's hand, a lifeline he knew was slipping. He spent their wedding night pacing, leaving her vulnerable, alone in their chamber, convinced I was coming for him. The exquisite irony? He completely overlooked the true target. A storm raged outside, mirroring my internal tempest. A lifetime of neglect boiling into one devastating act. I slipped in, The room's air, thick with their fleeting happiness, would soon be replaced by despair. Elizabeth, innocent, beautiful, lay there, a symbol of everything Victor had and I had been denied. She was the instrument of my retribution. Victor heard her scream. A sharp, piercing cry, brutally cut short. I emerged from the shadows, my hands around her throat, silencing her forever. It was swift. It was merciless. And in my twisted heart, perfectly deserved. Victor burst in a moment too late. He saw her lifeless. He saw Asterisque illuminated by lightning, my hideous face alight with triumph and agony. Elizabeth's limp form, her eyes staring blankly, was the final devastating blow. His soul, already fragile, shattered. The light in his world extinguished, just as he had extinguished the light in mine. I watched his raw, guttural grief. Profound, unshakable despair settled upon him, a burden he would carry to his grave. My promise was fulfilled. The scales were balanced, I believed. He had denied me companionship, taken my partner, and now I had taken his. The crimson wedding was complete. With it, a new chapter of relentless pursuit and absolute desolation began for us both. Chapter 18. A father's grief. All right, settle in. Because if you thought things couldn't get any darker for Victor Frankenstein, well, you were tragically mistaken. We've just witnessed the horrific culmination of his hubris. Elizabeth, his beloved, murdered on their wedding night. A scene of unspeakable terror that leaves Victor utterly shattered, a mere shell of the man he once was. He flees that dreadful chamber, haunted by the monster's spectral grin, eventually making his way back to Geneva. But what awaited him there was not solace, but a deeper, more brutal plunge into the abyss. Imagine the scene: Victor, a ghost of his former self, returning to the home he once cherished, his face a roadmap of terror and despair, and then the words. The impossible, soul-crushing words, confirming what his traumatized mind already knew but desperately tried to reject. Elizabeth was truly gone, forever. Her vivacious spirit, extinguished by the very hand of his creation. The horror of it, fresh and raw, seeping into every corner of his being. The weight of this news, delivered by a son already broken beyond repair, proved too much for Alphonse Frankenstein, Victor's father. Think about it: a man who had already endured the loss of his beloved wife, the unjust execution of Justine, the brutal murder of his youngest son William, and now, Elizabeth, the radiant daughter he'd welcomed into his heart, brutally stolen. His grief, already a bottomless well of sorrow, finally overflowed. He simply couldn't bear another blow. The spark of life within him, extinguished not by violence, but by a heart utterly, profoundly broken. He died just a few days after learning of Elizabeth's fate. Just like that, the patriarch, the grounding force of the family, is gone. And just like that, the Frankenstein family as we knew it was utterly annihilated. William, Justine, Elizabeth, and now Alphonse. All victims, directly or indirectly, of Victor's ambition and the monster he unleashed upon the world. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? As I look at Victor in this moment, a man who once dreamt of godlike power, I can't help but reflect on the bitter, soul-crushing irony. He had created life only to see it systematically stripped away from him. Every single person he loved, every connection that anchored him to humanity, ripped from his grasp. He now stood alone, utterly, tragically alone in the world. Isolated, abandoned, without family, without hope. Just as his own creation, the monster, had always been. A profound and terrible symmetry, born of terror and despair. The creator now mirrored the creation in its most fundamental, agonizing state: complete and utter solitude. A chilling, powerful echo through the desolate halls of his shattered life. This is not just grief, this is reckoning. The universe demands its pound of flesh, and then some. The Frankenstein lineage, severed. The devastating consequences of playing God, laid bare in the most unimaginable way. Chapter 19. The hunter becomes the hunted. Alright, welcome back. Chapter 19. The hunter becomes the hunted. This is it, the great reversal. For me, the moment my creator's sole purpose, his very reason for existence, flipped. He'd brought me to life, but now, his every fiber was dedicated to my utter destruction. A bitter irony: the architect of life, now a zealous engineer of death, with me as his consuming project. From creator to destroyer, I remember it etched onto my very being. Hidden, I watched him in that frost-bitten graveyard. He knelt among cold stones, before the graves of his father, Elizabeth, Clerval, all those I had, in my agony, taken. Amidst the ghosts, he made his furious vow of vengeance, roared into the night. His face, once marked by ambition, now contorted with one unholy purpose: to hunt me, to extinguish the spark he himself had kindled. Victor Frankenstein transformed, no longer a scientist but hunter, and I, his creation, became his prey, yet paradoxically, his master. Our macabre ballet began across Europe's unforgiving landscapes, from Ireland's shores, through the Alps' dense forests, into the frozen Russian steppes. This was a chase of mind, not just body. I led him, never fleeing, always guiding. A tantalizing glimpse, a footprint, a cryptic message, just enough to stoke his hatred, keep him on my trail, but never close enough. I watched his gaunt form, eyes hollowed by pursuit. I saw him starve, suffer. Each step fueled by his own poison, his revenge against me. He believed he chased me, but I pushed him deeper into his madness. His relentless pursuit became my justice. For the loneliness, the rejection, the monstrosity he'd created, I needed him to live, to experience his choice's crushing weight, to feel my isolation, my futile hope. I left food, not from kindness, but to prolong agony. Clues reignited the chase. I whispered taunts, his failures, losses, the monster he created. This was psychological war, his obsession, my weapon. He was caught in his own trap, hunter and hunted, bound by tragedy. My survival, his curse. His pursuit, my twisted existence. The more he chased, the more he mirrored the monster he sought to destroy. A chilling thought, creator, a shell, driven by destruction. Creation, architect of demise, not by blow, but slow erosion. Hunter, consumed, vessel for the hunt. Hunted, finds grim purpose. Shared, cursed destiny, bound in the desolate Arctic, hurtling toward a tragic end. Man and monster, purpose turned poison. Chapter 20, the Arctic prison. Alright, buckle up. We're diving into Chapter 20, the Arctic prison. Let's be clear, we're not literally asterisk at the North Pole in Moby Dick asterisk. But Melville, master of metaphor, understood that for this final, desperate chase, this vast, unforgiving emptiness that swallows hope whole, the icy solitude of the Arctic is the perfect parallel. Imagine it. The sea, once vibrant, stretches like a leaden sheet, reflecting a sky the color of old bruises. This landscape is stripped bare, devoid of life, no dolphins, no birds. The ocean isn't just an expanse, it's a terrifying mirror for our desolate souls. Every horizon, a cold, indifferent line. The cold isn't just physical, it seeps into your bones, chilling your spirit. The air feels thin, hollow, as if the world holds its breath. This isn't merely the edge of the world, it feels like consciousness itself struggles to exist. In this stark tableau, our crew, once vital, are now spectral. The relentless pursuit has stripped their humanity, leaving them extensions of Ahab's will. You see it in their hollowed eyes, gaunt faces, the weary, mechanical steps of prisoners. Their health fails not from fever, but spiritual and mental attrition, a slow decay of hope and identity. There's no Walton's ship here, no rescue. That mercy belongs to a different desolate tale. On the Pequod, only the tightening grip of obsession, a self-made prison. They're beyond human compassion, beyond civilization, sailing into an internal void mirroring this icy world. Every creak, every whisper isn't salvation, it's the groan of a coffin closing. And isn't that the most tragic irony? After epic voyages for a magnificent creature, our journey culminates not in triumph, but at this lifeless, sterile edge of the world. What was vengeance became inescapable destiny, a grim march to oblivion. The great white whale, once untamable in nature, is now the vortex, drawing the Pequod and its crew into a final embrace. This isn't where dreams are realized, it's where they turn to frost. It's where boundless ambition meets crushing emptiness. In that vast mirror, they finally see themselves, stripped bare. The stage is set, friends. The curtain is about to fall on this relentless, icy drama. Chapter 21, Walton's witness. So, here we are. After so much pursuit, so much suffering, so many endless stretches of ice and despair, it all came down to this. The end of a journey, but not in the way I ever imagined. Not a confrontation, not justice. Just an echo, a final, desperate confession. I watched, I listened, hidden just beyond the periphery of their flickering lamp, a silent witness to the unraveling of a life. My life, inextricably woven with his. Victor, my creator. He lay there frail, ravaged by fever and guilt, pouring out his soul to Captain Walton. He recounted our story, or rather, his version of it. Every grand ambition, every panicked flight, every moral compromise, he laid it bare. And I, the very subject of his terror and regret, hung on every word. A strange tableau, wasn't it? The created invisible, listening to the Creator's last will and testament, spoken to a stranger. He spoke of ambition, of the perilous heights of knowledge, of the hubris that dares to play God. His voice, weak but resolute, carried a desperate warning. A lesson learned not just in the creation of a monstrosity, of but in the subsequent, relentless destruction that followed. Seek happiness in tranquility, he gasped, and avoid ambition, even if it be only the apparently innocent one of distinguishing yourself in science and discoveries. The irony, of course, was not lost on me. He warned against ambition, yet his entire existence, and by extension, mine, was a testament to its irresistible, ruinous pull, a warning, yes, but one uttered far, far too late. For him, for me, for all the lives caught in the wake of his relentless pursuit. And then silence. A profound, chilling stillness descended upon the ship's cabin. His breath, so ragged just moments before, simply ceased. The light, the spark that ignited my very being, flickered out. Just like that. In that instant, an immense, terrifying emptiness washed over me. He was gone, my tormentor, yes, but also my sole, undeniable connection to this world. My origin, my purpose, twisted and dark as it was, had been defined by him. And now there was nothing. Just the vast, indifferent ocean, the cold Arctic wind, and an echoing void where a life and a story once fiercely burned. The bond, forged in terror and revulsion, yet a bond nonetheless, was severed, and I was truly irrevocably alone. What now for the creature left behind? With my creator's last breath, my own grim pilgrimage began anew. But that perhaps is a story for another time. Chapter 22. My creator, my victim. All right, folks, buckle up. We've journeyed through obsession, through the unholy pursuit of knowledge, and now we stand at the precipice of its bitter, freezing consequence. This is the very end of Victor Frankenstein's story, but perhaps the beginning of understanding for another. Imagine this with me, the desolate Arctic expanse. The Ashk Walrus *, our explorer's ship, now a silent witness. Stretched out on a cot, lies the remains of a man, Victor Frankenstein. Brilliant, driven, consumed by his own creation. His journey, his ambition, his agonizing life, finally extinguished. And then a shadow falls over him. A presence, not a ghost, not a figment, but something corporeal, monstrous, yet undeniably human in its suffering, our creature. And it's here, over the cold, still form of its maker, that the creature finally reveals itself fully to Robert Walton. He is dead, the creature rasps, its voice, I imagine, a symphony of agony and profound weariness. That is his last and most enduring deed. He is dead, and the last link between me and existence is broken. Can you feel the weight of that? The man he pursued with such relentless fury, the man he hated, the man whose very existence was a constant reminder of his own grotesque solitude is gone. And in that moment, the creature isn't triumphant. There's no joy in this victory, no sweet satisfaction of revenge accomplished. Only an immense, crushing grief, a grief that transcends hate. Think about it, Victor was his world, the only one who knew his origin, the only one who truly understood the depth of the horror he represented, and the only one who could, theoretically, alleviate it. He was the source of all his misery, yes, but also the crucible in which his very being was forged. To lose Victor is to lose a part of himself, a terrible, hated part, but a part nonetheless. I have murdered the lovely and the helpless, he confesses to Walton, his voice heavy with self-loathing. I have followed and destroyed him, whom for all his crimes, I once called master and esteemed, even when I most cursed him, as my creator. This isn't the raging monster of earlier chapters. This is a soul utterly broken, stripped bare by the brutal irony of its existence. He achieved his goal. Victor is dead. And what did it bring him? Peace, solace, a quiet sense of justice? No, only an abyss of deeper despair. His crimes against Victor, the murders of William Clerval, Elizabeth, were meant to wound, to punish, to force Victor to acknowledge him, to feel his pain. But all they did was echo back. Each act of violence, each desperate cry for attention, reverberated through his own being, twisting the knife of his isolation even deeper. He suffered much, the creature acknowledges, looking at Victor's body. But it was in the knowledge of my existence that his agony persisted. I too have suffered. His quest for revenge, for an eye, did not bring him resolution. It brought him only more misery, more guilt, a profound emptiness that even Victor's death cannot fill. He learned, too late, the terrible truth that hatred, no matter how justified it feels, ultimately consumes the hater more completely than the hated. It binds you, not to liberation, but to an even crueler form of servitude. And so, as the creature turns to walk away, into the icy wastes, towards his self-immolation, his final words hang in the air, a lament not just for Victor, but for himself. For the monstrous creation and the flawed creator, bound forever in a tragic dance of suffering and destruction. A profound, heartbreaking end to a story that asks us, even today, to look into the abyss of our own creations, our own ambitions, and the terrible, unforeseen consequences that can flow from them. And perhaps to choose a different path. Chapter 23. a funeral pyre of one you know. For so long, this life, this endless, churning sea, it's been nothing but a tempest within my soul. Every sunrise, just another relentless march toward a horizon that promises only the same, unending pursuit, a madness not even my own. But no more. I'm done, profoundly done. The relentless fight, the gnawing fear, the ache of despair, it all culminates here, now. This isn't an escape from something, not merely a retreat from suffering. No, this is a deliberate advance towards something. Towards an absolute peace. The kind of profound stillness that was never, ever allowed to me in the cacophony of life, in this brutal world of men and the monsters they pursue. A peace I've only ever glimpsed in the half-forgotten echoes of desperate dreams. A profound quiet, finally, for a spirit that has known turmoil. My departure, my ultimate act, won't be some grand, tragic spectacle. It'll be an act of quiet defiance. I will sail north, further north than any sane man would dare, to the very crown of the world where the compass spins wildly, where ice holds unchallenged dominion. There, amidst that desolate grandeur, I will gather what the currents have relinquished, driftwood, splintered spars, and with my own weary hands, I will build my own pyre, a final, solitary resting place. Under the spectral ballet of the aurora, I will lay myself down, and the flames, they will not merely consume flesh and bone. They will devour the burdens, the haunting memories, the crushing weight of a life spent perpetually teetering on the abyss. Just me, the vast ice, the purifying fire, and the boundless, silent void. My final, singular blaze, burning bright against the encroaching darkness. Tonight, then, the perfect shroud of an indifferent, moonless night. The ship breathes a heavy slumber, her crew lost in their troubled dreams, oblivious to my quiet, final rebellion. I will slip away. No dramatic goodbyes, no mournful farewells, just a shadow dissolving into the profound, inky blackness. A small boat, provisioned for a journey of no return, towards a destination known only to my own resolve. Into the swirling mist, the impenetrable fog that forever clings to these northern wastes, I will disappear. I will become one with it. One moment, a man standing on this deck, tethered to a doomed quest. The next, merely a fading wisp on the distant horizon, a whispered breath swallowed by the immensity. Gone, utterly, irrevocably gone. No trace left behind. Just a void where a soul once wrestled, a soul now, finally, profoundly free, finding its ultimate peace in its own funeral pyre of one. Chapter 24. Echoes in the Ice. Here's the script for Chapter 24. Echoes in the ice. We've journeyed through storm and calm, pursuit and terror. You've seen the depths of human obsession and the ocean's raw, indifferent power. Now, as our epic draws to a close, I must ask you, one last time, with everything we've witnessed together, who was the monster? This question has haunted me since I first read this colossal book, perhaps Melville's most crucial one. Was it the great white whale, a creature of instinct, it's defending its domain in an indifferent world? Or Ahab, consumed by rage, his soul forged in that brutal encounter, an abandonment by a world he no longer understood, or perhaps that failed to understand him? Consider Moby Dick, maimed perhaps by humans or its violent deep-sea existence. Ahab, left broken, physically and mentally, by its immense power. A wound begetting a wound, a loss fueling desperate retribution. A tragic, relentless cycle. Two titans formidable, inextricably linked not by understanding, but by shared trauma and spiritual vengeance. They mirrored each other in unyielding resolve. Abandoned by peace, by healing, they plunged headlong into a maelstrom, dragging all into the vortex. What does this devastating tale ultimately teach us, beyond the thrilling chase and nature's terrifying power? For me, the lasting echo isn't just the whale's thunder or the captain's defiant cries. It's a profound, desperate plea for empathy. A stark reminder that beneath grand quests and personal vendettas lies a fundamental human need: connection, understanding, a shared humanity transcending wounds we inflict, and those life inflicts without our choosing. Ahab, in terrifying isolation, pushed away every hand offering solace, every voice of reason or love. He saw only his foe, a monstrous reflection of his own pain, losing sight of everything valuable, everything offering peace. Moby Dick, a magnificent deep-sea creature, existed where human connections are irrelevant, yet was dragged into a human drama of obsessive hatred. Perhaps, the real monstrosity isn't a whale or a man, but the chilling void left when we fail to connect, choosing vengeance over understanding, consumed by isolated suffering. Because in those rare moments of shared vulnerability, of truly reaching out, recognizing another's pain, be it human, lost soul, or wild creature, we find our deepest humanity, our only salvation from the icy grip of our isolated echoes. In that connection, hope, however faint, still endures. The modern Prometheus 7-day action plan. Alright, so we've delved deep into the churning waters of Moby Dick right? We've wrestled with Ahab's obsession, Ishmael's wanderings, and the sheer, raw power of that white whale. But here's the thing about a truly great book. It doesn't just entertain, it holds up a mirror. And sometimes, what we see reflected back can feel a little overwhelming. It can feel ancient, grand, and far removed from our daily grind. But what if I told you that the heart of Moby Dick its very essence, can be distilled into something actionable? Something you can bring into your own life, starting tomorrow. Let's call it the modern Prometheus 7-day action plan. Because, just like Frankenstein's monster, sometimes our own creations, our ambitions, our fixations, they come back to haunt us. So, grab a mental harpoon, because we're going whaling for self-improvement. Stress Day 1 and 2, confront your creations. Tux This is about acknowledging the consequences of your ambitions and your actions. Think about Ahab. His ambition, his drive to conquer Moby Dick, wasn't just about the whale itself, was it? It was about an internal battle, a desire to impose his will on a chaotic universe. But what were the consequences? The destruction of his ship, his crew, himself. How often do we, in our own lives, charge headfirst after a goal, blind to the collateral damage? Maybe it's a career ambition that strains relationships, a pursuit of perfection that leads to burnout, or even just a quick decision with unforeseen ripple effects. For these 2 days, I want you to sit with it. Look at the monsters you've inadvertently created through your own drive. Acknowledge them, not with self-blame, but with honest observation. Where have your creations, your choices led you, and those around you, to unexpected shores? Text Day 3 and 4, seek understanding before judgment. This theme resonates so strongly with the otherness in Moby Dick Think about Queequeg, the cannibal harpooner. Ishmael, initially, is filled with apprehension, even fear. But through shared experience, through vulnerability, he comes to see Queequeg not as a savage other, but as a profound, loyal, and deeply human individual, perhaps even more so than many of the so-called civilized men on board. How often do we encounter people, ideas, or even situations that we immediately label as other, as different, as threatening? We judge them before we ever truly try to understand them. For these 2 days, challenge yourself. When you encounter someone or something unfamiliar, before you form an opinion, pause. Actively seek to understand their perspective, their motivations, their humanity. Ask questions. Listen. Try to walk a mile in their boots, or maybe their wooden legs. You might be surprised at what you find. Stress Day 5 and 6, break the cycle of vengeance. This is the core of Ahab's tragedy, isn't it? His single-minded pursuit of revenge against Moby Dick consumes him entirely. It doesn't bring him peace, it only perpetuates his suffering, and ultimately, the suffering of everyone around him. Revenge, in the end, is a self-inflicted wound, and it rarely, if ever, brings true resolution. Think about the smaller acts of revenge we sometimes harbor in our own lives. A grudge against a colleague, a lingering resentment towards an old friend, even just a petty desire to get back at someone. For these 2 days, become acutely aware of those moments. When you feel that urge for retribution, that pull to make someone else suffer for a wrong, however slight, pause. Recognize that this cycle only binds you to the past, preventing you from moving forward. Choose instead to release it. Choose forgiveness, if not for them, then for your own peace. It's not easy, but it's liberating. Day 7. Define your own humanity. Throughout Moby Dick we see characters defined by their roles, by their perceived status, by labels others attach to them. Ahab is the captain, Queequeg the savage, Ishmael the wanderer. But beneath those labels, they are complex, flawed, deeply human beings. What does it mean to be human? Is it about fitting into a predefined mold, living up to expectations, or embracing what others say you are? Or is it about claiming your own identity, your own values, your own spirit, even amidst a chaotic world? For this final day, reflect on who you are, beyond the titles, beyond the expectations. Don't let the whalers in your life, society, family, media, define your worth or your identity. What truly makes you? What are your core values? What unique spark do you bring to the world? Embrace that. Define your own humanity, your own freedom, your own purpose. Because, in the end, that's the only compass that truly matters. Summary: my life's 3 truths. Alright, So we've journeyed through the tumultuous waves and the relentless pursuit that defines Moby Dick asterisk. And if you've been with me this far, you know it's more than just a whaling story, it's a deep dive into the human condition. As I wrestled with Melville's colossal masterpiece, 3 truths emerged for me, truths that, I believe, cut straight to the heart of what makes us human, and sometimes, tragically, what breaks us. Let's call them my life's 3 truths distilled from this epic tragedy. First, and perhaps most hauntingly, loneliness is a wound that festers. The greatest cruelty is to deny a sentient being connected. Think about Moby Dick himself. Is he just a mindless brute, or a creature reacting to a profound wound? A creature alienated from its very existence by relentless persecution. And Ahab, consumed by his singular obsession, pushes everyone away, isolating himself in a fortress of vengeance. He denies connection both to his crew and, ultimately, to himself. We see the terrifying cost of this denial, a wound that doesn't just sting, but poisons everything, festering until there's nothing left but infection and destruction. To deny another being a chance at belonging, at understanding, is a silent, creeping horror. My second truth, ambition without responsibility creates monsters. Our creations and our actions have consequences. Captain Ahab isn't born a monster, he becomes one. His ambition, initially perhaps driven by a twisted sense of justice or survival, mutates into something destructive and self-serving, entirely devoid of responsibility. He sacrifices his ship, his crew, his very soul for a goal that serves no one but his own ego. This isn't just about harpooning a whale, it's about the terrifying power of unchecked will. And it's a chilling reminder that whether we're talking about technology, societal structures, or personal pursuits, if we sever ambition from our duty to others and to the world, we don't just create problems. We create terrifying, unstoppable forces that consume everything in their path. And finally, my third truth, one that resonates deeply within me-esque identity, is a struggle. We are all more than the label others give us. Be it monster or man, Moby Dick is labeled a monster, a malevolent, conscious evil by Ahab. But is he? Or is he a magnificent creature, a force of nature, reacting to an attack? And Ahab, in his pursuit, becomes the very monster he hunts, shedding his humanity for the identity of the avenger. This struggle to define ourselves, to live beyond the simplistic labels flung at us by society, by our pasts, or by our own internal demons, is universal. We are complex, layered beings, capable of both immense cruelty and profound compassion. To accept a single label is to diminish ourselves, to deny the beautiful, messy, contradictory truth of who we are. These aren't just literary observations, they are, for me, deeply personal lessons drawn from the depths of Melville's ocean. They're reminders of the fragility of connection, the danger of unchecked power, and the ongoing battle for self-definition. Let my voice be heard before I present the script. A quick note: the prompt for the comment section asked about Victor, or his creation, which pertains to Frankenstein asterisk. As the video is explicitly stated to be about Moby Dick asterisk, I have adapted this question to fit Moby Dick asterisk themes and characters to maintain thematic consistency within the script. I've aimed to preserve the spirit of the original question while making it relevant to Melville's masterpiece. Here is your script. All right, we've sailed through the relentless pursuit, navigated the depths of obsession, and wrestled with the immense power of nature in Herman Melville's monumental work, Moby Dick asterisk. And honestly, it leaves you with so much to unpack, doesn't it? It's a story that truly makes you feel the vastness of the ocean, and perhaps even more so, the vastness of the human spirit, for better or for worse. Now, as always, I'm genuinely eager to hear your thoughts, to read your perspective. This isn't just a channel for me to share my musings, it's a place for us, a community of literary souls, to connect over these incredible journeys books take us on. So, for this one, I've got a question that has resonated with me deeply every time I revisit the Pequod's ill-fated voyage. Who, in your eyes, was the true monster in this epics? Was it Captain Ahab, consumed by a fury that devoured him and his crew, turning a quest for survival into a vengeful crusade? Or was it the magnificent, indifferent force of nature, Moby Dick himself, an animal merely existing, responding to pain and threat in the only way it knew how? Who bears the greater responsibility for the tragedy that unfolded? I want to read your verdict, your carefully considered judgment. Drop it in the comments below. Let's get a real discussion going on the nature of monstrosity, of obsession, and of man's endless battle against forces both external and internal. And if this journey with Moby Dick moved you, if you found yourself lost in the spray and the salt, feeling the weight of Ahab's obsession or the sheer majesty of the whale, please give this video a like stresk. It truly helps me know what resonates with you and allows me to keep exploring these literary landscapes. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. For literary souls. We're building a unique space here where we don't just scratch the surface of these incredible stories, but dive deep into the hearts and minds of their characters, exploring the human experience through their voices. You won't want to miss our next deep dive, where we might just be hearing from another character whose tale has forever changed our understanding of the world. Finally, if this conversation about what it means to be human, our triumphs, our flaws, our relentless pursuits, sparked something in you, or made you see the world a little differently, share this video. Send it to someone who you think needs to hear a different perspective, or who simply loves a good, thought-provoking story. Let's cast our nets wide and bring more souls into our literary harbor. Thank you, as always, for joining me on this incredible voyage. Until next time, keep reading, keep thinking, and keep those conversations alive. Let my voice be heard. All right, we've sailed through the relentless pursuit, navigated the depths of obsession, and wrestled with the immense power of nature in Herman Melville's monumental work, Moby Dick And honestly, it leaves you with so much to unpack, doesn't it? It's a story that truly makes you feel the vastness of the ocean, and perhaps even more so, the vastness of the human spirit, for better or for worse. Now, as always, I'm genuinely eager to hear your thoughts, to read your perspective. This isn't just a channel for me to share my musings, it's a place for us, a community of literary souls, to connect over these incredible journeys books take us on. So, for this one, I've got a question that has resonated with me deeply every time I revisit the Pequod's ill-fated voyage. Who, in your eyes, was the true monster in this epic? Was it Captain Ahab, consumed by a fury that devoured him and his crew, turning a quest for survival into a vengeful crusade? Or was it the magnificent, indifferent force of nature, Moby Dick himself, an animal merely existing, responding to pain and threat in the only way it knew how? I mean, who bears the greater responsibility for the tragedy that unfolded? I want to read your verdict, your carefully considered judgment. Drop it in the comments below. Let's get a real discussion going on the nature of monstrosity, of obsession, and of man's endless battle against forces both external and internal. And if this journey with Moby Dick moved you, if you found yourself lost in the spray and the salt, feeling the weight of Ahab's obsession or the sheer majesty of the whale, please give this video like asterisk. It truly helps me know what resonates with you and allows me to keep exploring these literary landscapes. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button, for literary souls. We're building a unique space here, where we don't just scratch the surface of these incredible stories, but dive deep into the hearts and minds of their characters, exploring the human experience through their voices. You won't want to miss our next deep dive, where we might just be hearing from another character whose tale has forever changed our understanding of the world. Finally, if this conversation about what it means to be human, our triumphs, our flaws, our relentless pursuits, sparked something in you, or made you see the world a little differently, share this video. Send it to someone who you think needs to hear a different perspective, or who simply loves a good, thought-provoking story. Let's cast our nets wide and bring more souls into our literary harbor. Thank you, as always, for joining me on this incredible voyage. Until next time, keep reading, keep thinking, and keep those conversations alive.